Heavy rain overnight in north and central parts of the country toppled trees and caused flooding and power outages. Meanwhile, heat wave warnings were issued in the south on Tuesday. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has reportedly clinched a majority from Democratic delegates to become the party's presidential nominee to face off against Republican Donald Trump. Ruling People Power Party's former interim leader Han Dong-hoon returns to the stage as he was elected as the party's new leader today at the party convention. It's July 23rd, 6 p.m. in Seoul. This is Newscenter. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. We begin with heavy rain that battered the country overnight. There have been power cuts and road closures in the north and central regions. In the meantime, the south is hit by a heat wave. Moon Hae-ryun has the details.
The country is divided between two extreme weather conditions. Heavy rain and winds battering the north and central regions, while a heat wave sweeps across the south. Early Tuesday morning in Gangwon-do province, 72 reports of rain damage, such as from fallen trees and drainage issues, had come in by 7:30 a.m. as areas such as Cheolwon-gun County were battered by 126 millimeters of rain. There were blackouts reported throughout the night in hundreds of houses across the province's capital, Chuncheon. While most had power restored within 3 hours, around 70 houses are still undergoing repair work. Strong winds paired with the rain have led to landslide warnings being issued across the country, with the Korea Forest Service issuing the second highest landslide warning on a 4-tier scale across the capital region, including Incheon, and the third highest across other areas. In Gyeonggi-do province, a tree falling cut off the power supply to 20 houses, and by 7 a.m. there had been 61 reports of roads being obstructed. Major roads in the province were submerged in rainwater, and 9 reports of homes being flooded came through to rescue workers. The Imjingang River, which is the 7th largest river in the country, swelled past 5 meters high. Most of the heavy rain had subsided in the afternoon, with Chamsugyo Bridge in Seoul reopened to traffic and pedestrians as of 1:30 p.m., as well as the Yeouido-Sangmu interchange area of the Olympic Daedo Highway. Rain warnings for Gyeonggi-do and Gangwon-do provinces have been lifted, but the rain has left a trail of damage in its wake. According to the insurance industry, from July 6th until 9 a.m. on Tuesday, there have been more than 30,500 claims filed due to damage to vehicles. Meanwhile, South Korea's southern regions such as Gwangju and Jeju Island have been issued heatwave warnings with soaring temperatures. Heatwave warnings are issued by the Korea Meteorological Administration when feels like temperatures of more than 35 degrees Celsius are expected to persist for more than 2 days. While actual temperatures in Daegu and Jeju Island are expected to reach around 34 degrees, the humidity is making it feel even hotter. Moon Hae-ryun, Arirang News.
And the government vows to better address the plight of people facing the brunt of the latest downpours. Park Gon-woo has more.
At an economic ministerial meeting held on Tuesday, the South Korean government promised immediate support for residents who suffered damage from the recent heavy rain.
We share our deepest sympathies to all the residents affected by the unusually heavy rain. The government will quickly support them by utilizing all available resources for disaster countermeasures so that they can return to their daily lives.
He also requested that ministries take preemptive measures ahead of the heat wave that usually comes after the summer monsoon to manage energy supply and demand and prevent industrial disasters. Due to the unusual weather, Deputy Prime Minister Choi said food prices could possibly go back up in July. Accordingly, the government promised to release around 300 tons of Napa cabbages and radishes from their storage each day and support the reseeding of flooded crop fields to stabilize supply and demand for farm produce. The government also spoke about plans to support employment, including executing a budget of over $3.3 billion and providing subsidies for the vulnerable. It also announced plans for expanding elderly-friendly residences for the seniors. While regulations for building these senior living communities are set to be eased, more elderly residences will be provided especially for low-income groups and in places where the population is falling. Park Gon-woo, Arirang News.
Over in the U.S., Vice President Kamala Harris has hit the ground running as she seeks to face off against Republican Donald Trump in November. She has already secured enough support from Democratic delegates. Choi Min-jung tells us more.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris began the first full day of her presidential campaign on Monday afternoon by greeting campaign staff in Delaware. She expressed her intentions to earn the Democratic nomination and win the election.
So in the days and weeks ahead, I, together with you, will do everything in my power to unite our Democratic Party, to unite our nation, and to win this election.
She also praised U.S. President Joe Biden's, quote, legacy of accomplishment that is unmatched in modern history. Biden joined Monday's event via phone. He said his decision to withdraw was hard, but added that it was the right thing to do. After she praised Biden, Harris turned her fire on election race rival Donald Trump. She said that Trump will bring America backward to a time before many fellow Americans had full freedoms and rights. Speaking of her past role as California's chief prosecutor, Harris called Trump a predator and a cheater.
Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Meanwhile, Democrats are uniting behind Harris by endorsing her as the party's front-runner for the presidential nomination. They include former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Bill and Hillary Clinton, and several Democratic governors. The Harris campaign claims it has pulled in roughly $81 million in donations over the span of 24 hours. According to an Associated Press survey, Harris has secured the support of enough Democratic delegates to become her party's nominee against Trump. As of Monday night, she had the support of at least 2,400 delegates, more than the 1,976 needed to ensure nomination at the August convention. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
North Korea has responded to Trump's recent comments where he boasted about his relationship with Kim Jong-un, arguing that the former U.S. president was only inflating hopes. The South Korean government says there's a political reckoning behind it. Ian He explains.
North Korea has released a commentary on former U.S. President Donald Trump's recent remarks, where he praised his relationship with Kim Jong-un. Delivered via the Korean Central News Agency on Tuesday, the commentary states that regardless of which administration is in charge, the political chaos in the United States offers no path forward and that it doesn't care about Trump's remarks. Accusing Trump of inflating hopes of improved North Korea-U.S. relations, the commentary emphasized that the future relationship between the two depends entirely on the U.S.'s actions. This response follows Trump's repeated mentions of Kim Jong-un during his acceptance speech last week as the former U.S. president formally accepted the Republican Party's nomination. During his speech, Trump emphasized that he gets along with the North's leader and the importance of getting along with someone who possesses significant nuclear capabilities. Meanwhile, South Korea's unification ministry sees North Korea's comments as cautious. A senior unification ministry official told reporters on Tuesday that the remarks appear to be an implicit call for a shift in U.S. policy towards North Korea. North Korea's commentary acknowledged Kim's friendship with Trump, but criticized him for failing to bring about meaningful change. The remarks also underscored the importance of keeping boundaries between public and private relationships. Ian He, Arirang News.
South Korean actor Yu Ji-tae, currently serving as a government ambassador on North Korean human rights, spoke at an event in Washington where he urged not to turn away from the reality of the people living under the regime. Our correspondent Kim Beom-soo has more.
Old boy anti-hero Yu Ji-tae said that despite the issue of North Korean human rights being painted as a political matter, it should only be about the people.
What we aim to discuss are the people within North Korea. I urge you to extend your hands to the darkest places
Speaking at this year's International Dialogue on North Korean Human Rights in Washington, D.C., co-hosted by the National Endowment for Democracy, CSIS, and South Korea's Ministry of Unification, the actor said his focus expanded from his own life to the lives of others. Unification Minister Kim Beom-soo and U.S. Special Envoy for North Korean Human Rights Julie Turner also attended the event, but it was Yu who stood out the most.
As a Korean living on the Korean Peninsula, my attention naturally turned to the most marginalized people in the world, those living in North Korea. Women who escape North Korea to avoid severe human rights abuses often face even harsher violations during their escape.
He has worked on the scenario for the webtoon Ankai, meaning wife, in the North Korean dialect. The digital cartoon depicts the hardships and challenges faced by women escaping from North Korea. The actor said it took nearly 10 years for the webtoon to be completed due to interviews and research, which made him passionate about the reality of North Korean defectors.
It is not injustice itself that nurtures injustice, but our indifference. If there is injustice anywhere in this world, do not close your eyes and turn away, but take action. I hope our actions can heal the painful wounds of North Korean residents who are neglected by their own country.
He's set to speak at another session for the event on Tuesday local time. Last month, the actor said every South Korean should think about North Korean human rights at least once. Kim Jong-sil, Arirang News.
Now we go over to the venue where the ruling People Power Party is holding its convention. Our National Assembly correspondent Lee Si-hoo is standing by where the party just not long ago announced the winner of the convention. It's the new leader of the party. Si-hoo, who won?
Jung-min, tonight, Han Dong-hoon has been announced the new leader of the ruling People Power Party at its national convention, winning a majority with over 320,000 votes. Now, it was just an hour ago when this place was filled with cheer as he accepted his post. In his speech, he vowed the party will respond more to the people's voices and change accordingly. Now, he is the former Minister of Justice and the interim leader of the PPP during the recent general election in April. Now, the voting took place during the 4-day voting period from last Friday to yesterday. According to party rules, 80% of the votes came from eligible party members, and the rest, 20%, came from public opinion polls. This time, only 48% or 408,000 of the total 841,000 eligible party members cast their ballots. That's a little over 6 percentage points less than that of last year's convention, which had a record high turnout. This evening, the PPP also chose 4 new members of the party's Supreme Council and 1 more member of its Youth Supreme Council for those under 45 years of age. The new Supreme Council members are Kim Min-jeon, Kim Jae-won, In Yo-han, and Jang Dong-hyuk. And the new Youth Supreme Council member is Jin Jong-ho.
Raishu, and we hear that President Yoon came to congratulate the ruling party himself.
That's right. President Yoon Suk-yeol did pay a visit himself and delivered a speech. In his speech, he said the future of the Conservative Party is in the hands of its supporters. Listen in.
국민의힘을 어떤 당으로 만들지, 대한민국을 어떤 나라로 만들지 모두 당원 동지 여러분의 생각과 판단에 따라 결정되는 것입니다. 2024년 7월 23일 오늘 이 전당대회가 단결과 통합의 새 역사를 여는 자리로 기록될 것이라고 저는 믿습니다.
Now, Yongsan has kept a distance from the conservative ruling party during the preparation process leading up to the National Convention, not officially commenting or sharing its stance on potential new leaders. Now, it's expected that the new leader will aim for a closer relationship with the administration and more collaboration, especially in coming up with new policies tackling the country's low birth rate.
And Shihu, how do we expect to see the party's internal and external dynamics shift?
Right, so the new party leader will serve the role for 2 years. And now it's the first time in 7 months that the party will be led by an official party chair, and just 2 months since Hwang Woo-yeol, its interim steering leader, has taken office. In the short term, the new leader faces mounting pressure from the opposition parties at the National Assembly, who are planning to push through their agendas during this July session as early as tomorrow. In the long term, the new leader is expected to do a good job preparing for the local election set to take place in June of 2026, where the PPP, with minority status in the assembly, will aim for more regional leadership posts. Now, this is all I have for this hour, but I'll be back with more updates in a later newscast. Jung-min.
All right, that was our political correspondent Lee Si-hu reporting live from the party's national convention in Goyang City. Thank you. On the prolonged medical conflict, the government has warned some medical professors against potentially boycotting training programs for future junior doctors. Patients also condemned the move. Cha Yun-kyung has more.
Health Minister Cho Kyu-hong criticized medical professors who are planning to boycott training programs for junior doctors in the second half year. The professor's move is to protest the government allowing hospitals to accept the resignations of striking trainee doctors and the medical school admissions quota increase. During a government meeting responding to the threat, Cho said it is deeply regrettable that some medical professors seem to disregard patients' anxiety and inconvenience. Cho also urged the professors to persuade striking trainee doctors to return to hospitals. Kwon Byung-gi, the Essential Medical Support Officer at the Ministry of Health and Welfare, said in a briefing the same day, professors who will not take part in education and training programs for trainee doctors are reducing the number of trainee doctors. Kwon also noted that the boycott harms trainee doctors at schools and hospitals and is against constitutional and human rights values. He lastly warned that hospitals must be fully committed to contracts and rules regarding the training of doctors, implying possible legal action against professors involved in the boycott. Health Minister Cho also said during the meeting that he will announce a detailed roadmap on medical reforms by August with revised bills and financial plans. Medical Support Officer Kwon added that the roadmap is intended to quickly normalize the training system and cover gaps in medical care for the second half of the year. Meanwhile, the Korea Federation of Severe Diseases, a patients group, also condemned Yonsei Medical School professors for participating in the boycott. The federation said such medical professors should be ashamed of their behavior and withdraw from the boycott, as ignoring the pain and lives of patients is an inhumane act. Cha Yun-kyung, Arirang News.
In other news, the founder of Kakao Corporation has been arrested amid accusations of market manipulation. An Song-jin has the latest.
An arrest warrant has been issued for Kim Beom-soo, the founder of Kakao Corporation, over allegations of stock manipulation. After a near 4-hour interrogation at the Seoul Southern District Court on Monday, the court issued a warrant at around 1 a.m. on Tuesday. Kim remained silent when asked about whether he admits any wrongdoing. The allegations of stock manipulation come in connection with the acquisition of SM Entertainment in February last year. Kim is alleged to have manipulated SM Entertainment stock prices to prevent a public takeover by Hive, a competitor also looking to acquire SM Entertainment. Stock prices were set and fixed above Hive's bid of 120,000 won per share, with SM stocks bought through more than 550 purchases using a private equity fund named One Asia Partners, which allegedly injected around 240 billion won or $170 million. Kim had previously strongly denied these allegations and stated that it's unfortunate for such allegations to rise at a time when the company is working together for corporate reform.
He stated that he approved of the purchase but was unaware of the exact process. With a warrant, Kim can be arrested for up to 20 days. The prosecutor's office will be questioning Kim on whether he directly interfered. Kakao's investment division director, as well as the CEO of the private equity fund, will also be going to court. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
BTS member Jimin's second solo album, Muse, has garnered praise among multiple foreign music outlets. On Tuesday, his agency Big Hit Music stated that Grammys introduced his music as bolder and more confident, and added that Jimin is certainly a source of inspiration for many. Another American music media, Consequence of Sound, stated that Jimin has a fascinating presence on stage as he performs various dance genres with his own color. This comes as a remix version was also released on Tuesday, which includes acoustic, rock, and other variations of the lead-off song Who. His second solo project comes nearly a year and a half after his debut solo album Face.
There's a possibility of strong rain again in the Seoul metropolitan area in Gangwon-do province overnight. It will rain on the south coast areas of Gyeongsam-namdo province between late night and early tomorrow morning, but most of the rain will stop tomorrow morning. The heatwave warning has been expanded to the southern parts of Gyeonggi-do province, the east coast of Gangwon-do province, and the southern parts of Chungcheong-do provinces. In particular, feels like temperatures will exceed 35 degrees Celsius in places where heat warnings have been issued. Tomorrow morning will be very similar to today. Most areas will start off at least 24 degrees. Highs will move up to 30 degrees in Seoul and Busan, Daegu, Gyeongju, and Jeju, 34 degrees. It will rain on Jeju Island on Thursday, and on Friday, it will rain on the south coast and Jeju Island from time to time. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
That is Newscenter for tonight. Thank you for watching. A panel session coming up.